It's another nice day in the land of somewhere in Ottawa. We've put the bits and pieces together to give you an idea of how the things are going to be assembled. We've marked each piece as top, bottom, in, out, and we didn't mark our gussets as being top and bottom. The gussets serve two purposes. They serve to strengthen the corners, and with the T-nut, that is how we're going to attach the legs to our modules. We're going to be running some wires from one end of the module to the other end. We're going to be running a 6-wire telephone cable for LocoNet, and we're going to be running a 14 gauge stranded wire, 2 colors, for our track power bus. And we want to make sure that those wires don't dangle down, get tangled up and torn and ripped out. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut a notch in the cross member that we've got here, 1/2 inch wide. So our cross member is 22.5, so if we measure in 11 inches from one end and 11 inches from the other end, we'll square that off. Like that. And we're going to make the notch about 1/4 inch deep. We've already set up 1/4 inch on our another T-square, so we're going to mark it across there. Same with the other side. And extend the lines down. And same on the other side. And this is what we're going to be cutting out. Now we want that notch to be next to the styrofoam, so we're also going to mark that as being top and bottom. So now to pull out our table saw and cut out the notch. On to the next. So here we are marking the other 42 pieces of gusset that we've got as being top and being bottom. You want to make sure that you've marked each piece, including the pieces that are 22.5 inches and 48 inches, as being top and bottom. Why? Because if you don't, for sure, you're going to end up gluing things the wrong way. And once the glue has dried, there's no way that you can separate those pieces. Even if you jump on them, you're going to shred the pieces and they'll be useless. So take the extra time and mark everything top and mark everything bottom. And in the case of the other pieces, also mark them in and out. Oh, we got another train coming through. That's a westbound, and he's on his way to Toronto. As I said yesterday, we're going to have to film a few of those vehicles that are passing by the back of the house. Ever onwards and upwards. So we've got our fence set up 11 inches from the edge of the fence to the edge of the blade. We think we've got our blade set at 1/4 inch, so we're going to take a scrap piece of wood here and run it through and see if it's 1/4 inch. Take our T-square, fit it in, and we're right on, ready to go. So let's get on with the first piece. Remember, this is the one that we marked as top. We're going to cut this notch out, so we're going to put it face down. Whenever you're running materials through a table saw and running it up against the fence, it's usually a good idea to put a little block in ahead so that the piece isn't touching up against the fence when you run it through the blade. But we're long enough and we can grab it on both sides, so let's check our measurements here. 11 inches from one end to the center and 11 inches from the other side to the center. So we're all set to cut the other pieces. Ever onwards and upwards. We've successfully run the middle cross members through the table saws, and we have now cut out a 1/2 inch slice on each side. The next step is to cut out the middle. So we're going to set our fence a little further away at about 11 1/4 inches, and then we will zing each one through. Let's get started. So we've set up our fence so that the blade just touches the edge of that first saw cut. What we're going to do is we're going to run it through 3 or 4 times, and we're going to cut out the piece that's in the center. Let's get started. And there we've got the notch cut out. There's a little bit of a rough edge in there, but we can fix that up with a little bit of sandpaper or fine. On to the next one. Here we are, we've got a nice clean cut. You'll notice that we haven't marked the cross members as being top or bottom yet, so let's do that right. So this side gets marked as top where the notch is, because that's going to be going next to the styrofoam, and we're going to string our wires through the notch, and this gets marked as bottom. So you'll notice that we didn't mark some of our pieces, so we're going to do that now. Where the notch is, it's top. Where the other side is, bottom. We'll notice when we were using the table saw that we threw our pieces on the ground. You don't want unnecessary wood cluttering up the top of the table saw, especially with a blade that can do a good bit of damage. Oh, sounds as if we've got some more Via trains coming. This one is going to be taking the passing siding. We've got about 18 trains a day passing in the back of the house here. Maybe tomorrow we'll shoot some video of those trains for you. So there we go. We've now got that notch cut in. Now we're ready to go for the next steps. And that's going to be doing some drilling for some T-nuts.